everybody, how are you today? Hope you're well. It's very wet and quite windy here today, quite a grey day today, but it's milder, so it doesn't feel as cold today, which is nice. So I hope you're all keeping very well. It's lovely to be back with you again. Today we've got a right treat for you. I'm making sauerkraut. Now, sauerkraut in the shops is okay, but the homemade really is the very best you can have. Absolutely fantastic in probiotics, really good for your gut health. So, what we're going to do today, you can use red cabbage if you want. That's just as good for sauerkraut, if not better in some respects. White cabbage, plain white cabbage. Try and get organic if you can. If you can't, don't worry, just take the first 2 leaves off and discard them, compost them, whatever. So then you go into, grab your, mine's not organic, so I've taken the first leaves off, the first 2 leaves off, and I have discarded them. Now I'm going to take the next leaf off, the top, and just put that to one side. I'll show you what we're going to do with that later. That's going to be, if it stops breaking up and lets me peel it off, which I don't think it's going to play nicely. That should do, it should be enough. So just going to pop them to one side for a moment. I have taken the core out. Just taken the core out. I'm also saving the core, I'm not throwing them away. We'll show you what we do with them later. This is, oh my god, this is now cut into half and just cut a V to take the core out. Then we're just going to cut it in half again. There we go. And sauerkraut is fantastic. It really is. It takes a few days to be ready, and then it'll save it in your fridge for up to 6 months. Ours doesn't last that long in this house, but you know. It's really nice to have as a side dish with, well, almost anything really. Anything. Fireman's lunch, hot dogs, burgers, any meal. It really does go with any meal. Do you know the spicy sort of, excuse me, like, you know, like your spicy kind of German sausage and Polish sausage, those sorts. It's nice just to have with that sliced up on a plate. If you've never had sauerkraut, I'd probably recommend trying to make your own rather than have the shop bought. I think the one you make at home is a milder, takes on a milder flavour. I think the ones that in the shops can be a little bit too strong, a little bit too tangy for my taste. You might like them, but I think when you're making your own as well, you can guarantee that it's going to be healthy. You know that it's been made right. So it's just a case really of finely shredding this. So I shall continue with this, and then I will come back and show you the next part. So, back again. Chop the cabbage up. Just turn you a little bit like that. Sorry guys. So I've chopped the cabbage up, popped it in a dish, large mixing bowl, and now remember, you don't need any specialist equipment for this. Normally I would just pop it through the food processor and chop it all up like when you're making coleslaw, but I want you to know you don't need any equipment for this apart from your basic kitchen, you know, utensils. So chop it as finely as you can, pop it in your dish, and then just try and move you down a little bit. And then we're just going to pop 2 tablespoons of coarse sea salt or rock salt, whichever you can get, as long as it's not the table salt. It needs to be quite a good quality, coarse sea salt or rock salt if you can. Now the next thing you can use is a potato masher or a wooden spoon, anything like that. I do happen to have a wooden pounder. This is acacia wood. I have one, but you don't need one. You can just use a potato masher. And all you're going to do after you pop the salt in is just bash this down. And keep bashing it down until that salt gets through all of the cabbage. And then the cabbage starts releasing its liquid, its water, which it will do. Now that takes about 10 minutes to do. So if you've got some children at home and you're wanting to keep them occupied, get them to take turns to just pound this down for a good 10 minutes until, like I said, it's broken down and it's started to release its liquids. And try not to get it all over the place like I just have. As you know, friends, it wouldn't be a Samantha's video if I didn't do something clumsy, would it? So we're just going to keep doing that, and I'll be back with you in about 10 minutes, which will be a few seconds for you. So my friends, I've been pounding at this for quite a while now. Probably not 10 minutes, but it has started to look a lot wetter and soggier, and it has started to give up its liquid now. It's water, as this cabbage. So we are going to go ahead now and pop this in a jar. This is just such a lovely thing to have in your fridge to add as a side dish. I really love it, and I love making it. I mean, if you've had a bad day, you can really take it out on the cabbage like this, can't you? Get rid of all your frustrations. It's all good fun. So what we're going to do now, you're going to put your potato masher or your sauerkraut pounder to one side, and we're going to get a nice clean mason jar. And we're going to add the sauerkraut with very, very clean hands, because we don't want to add any bad bacteria to this. We want all good bacteria. We're going to add the sauerkraut to the jar now. You might need a couple of jars. This is the largest one I have at the moment that's free. My larger jars are all busy being in use for something else, so I can't remember what size this is. It says on the, it's a wide mouth jar, and it's, I'm not quite sure, I'll have to look at the package, but what we're going to do is we're going to pack this in as best we can, and then we're going to get this stick or pounding. If you haven't got the ability to get your masher at this point in here, just try and use like a ladle, a soup ladle, just to press it down. You want to press it down as much as you can to get some more in. I will need another jar because I've got some more cabbage over there that I couldn't fit in this bowl, and I've only used one cabbage as well. So you might want to try with just half a cabbage at first, depending on what your, whoops, just put in some of the, can you see that lovely liquid from the cabbage? Just pouring that in there now just to get that going. It's such an easy thing to make, is this. I find it very therapeutic making sauerkraut. And I'm making it look harder than what it is, aren't I? Let's be honest. So I'm just going to leave it at that for a minute, because I will get another jar and pop some in another jar soon. We're just going to leave it at that for now, because what we want to do is we want to make sure that this turns into a really good, healthy side dish. We want lots of probiotics in there, lots of good bacteria that's healthy for our gut. So what I am going to do is I'm going to grab an apple. It doesn't matter whether it's a red apple or a green apple. This is just what I have. And I'm going to leave the skin on. The only thing I'm going to discard is the stem and a little bit of the core, just a little bit, making sure I'm not putting any pips in there. Don't want any. You can save these because we've got another project tomorrow with those, so don't throw those away. Just pop them in a little food bag in the fridge with a little bit of lemon juice if you want to stop it going funky. So all I'm going to do is just discard those. I don't want the pips. The pips, I'll just throw away the pips. I don't throw away a lot. You could just put them on the compost or something like that. Just getting rid of that. Right, so all I'm going to do is I'm going to chop this up, like so. I don't know if you can see me. My tripod is not wanting to go too much lower, because it likes to collapse and go all wonky. It's like my dogs today. It's misbehaving. Very naughty doggies today. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put these in the blender. Just try and lift you up so you can see what I'm doing. I don't know if you can see that. Oh no, I don't think you can. I don't know if you can see that blender. Let me try. I've got you resting on a box. That's how technical we get here, people. Right, see that blender now, can't you? There we go. So I'm just going to pop this apple in this blender here, like so. This is full of prebiotics, which feed probiotics. All good stuff. And I'm just going to get the cores of the cabbage that I cut out earlier. Just take the edges off because they're a bit too harsh, those. I'm just going to chop them down a little bit, just to give the blender a chance. Ooh! I don't want them too big. I want them to be able to blend everything up nice and... So nothing really apart from the stem of the apple. And maybe the pips. Just don't want the pips in there. It's all the only thing really that gets wasted. And they can go compost. It's one of those recipes where you're just using everything. It's fabulous. 65p this cabbage, bargain. So I know it's not organic, but beggars can't be choosers, can we? Filtered water. Please do not use tap water. We do not want the chlorine and the treatment chemicals that we get in tap water in this. We want good bacteria to thrive. Won't do if we're using tap water. So some bottled filtered water or your home filtered water. If you've got a Berkey or one of those jug filters, anything like that. If you haven't got any system of filtering water or you haven't got any bottled water at all, your other alternative would be to just pour some tap water in a jug and just leave it overnight on the cupboard top at the side to get all the chlorine to disappear from the water. That would be an alternative. But if you can use bottled spring water, filter water, anything like that, it's better. I'm just going to switch this on. I'm sorry if it's noisy. Let's just see what this is like now, because I want it to be like a pulp. Oh yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect. So what I want to do now is get this pulp. I'm going to just use half of it because I'm going to get another jar in a moment for the rest of the cabbage. I underestimated the size of the jar that I would need because I've made this for a few months. And usually we tend to have it in the fridge most of the time. Can I turn you back now? So we've got the I'm not putting a lot of water in. I'm really not. Just a tablespoon maybe. It's about as much as I'm going to put in. We're going to really press that down now. We really want, actually, for that pulp that I've just put in from the apples and the cabbage core, we really could do with that getting mixed in a bit more with the cabbage. So I might just try, I don't know if you can see that, just try and get that more mixed in really. And it's pretty packed down is that sauerkraut now. And I don't want it right to the top here because it fizzes as the bacteria is developing in it. It does fizz up. So I would put this on a plate while it's... So I'll probably put the equivalent of about 2 tablespoons of water in there. Oh, look at that. Lovely jubbly. Can you see all that liquid now? You don't want a lot. You know, a little bit on the top, but that's really good. So that is basically the start of your sauerkraut. Exciting, isn't it? Now these leaves that we took off before, we are just going to pop those in on the top. That protects the sauerkraut from nasties. It's almost like a natural lid, if you will. Now then, what we are going to do, because we don't want this covered up, we really do not want this covered up, but we don't want it going mouldy and manky either, so we want to make sure it is under the water if we can, like that. We don't want air getting to it. Excuse me. So you can use anything really for a weight as long as it's clean. You could use a paper weight as long as you've put it through the dishwasher or sterilised it, done whatever you can with it. You could use one of those paper weights, like the ornament, you know, the ornaments, the glass ornaments. You could just use like a smaller lid that fits inside that you just press down. That's an alternative. Can't get that back up now, can I? I've pressed that down too much now, haven't I? So you could use a lid for another jar, or just splashed you. Or if you have, like I said, you don't need specialist equipment, but I do have some of these little glass weights, which is going to go on there like so, just to keep it under that liquid. Now I'm going to put, I don't have any lids like this for wide mouth jars, I've only got the ones for the regular mouth jars, so I am going to use my canning lid, which I really don't want to, but, and you're just going to do it finger tight. Don't try and wrench it really tight, you don't want to do that, you just want it finger tight. Every single day for the next 5 or 6 days, you want to just go like this. Release the pressure that's building up in there. A little bit of a seal will form. Just close it back again, just finger tight, not too tight, no pressure. Every day, release, put back on for about 5 days. After about 5 days, taste it. See if it's tangy enough for you, see if you like it. It should be ready after about 5 days. It is always just enough for me after 5 days. Any more than that and it's too much for me. It's a bit too strong. My husband likes it stronger, it's fine. It will go stronger in the fridge, but we eat it pretty quickly. So that's your sauerkraut. Put it on the side, on your cupboard top, somewhere where it's warm, not too hot, but warm. And every day just do that for about 4 or 5 days. Taste it. If it's to your tasting, you then know you can put it in the fridge. It's good then. It's ready. So that's your sauerkraut. Now I want you to make this because in going to be saving some of this sauerkraut juice for another recipe that we're going to be doing, and it's going to be really, really good. So that this liquid you can actually use in a drink. You can put it in like fizzy water, you know, like fizzy spring water, and have a nice fizzy probiotic drink. That's really good for you. So it's not just about eating the actual sauerkraut. The liquid that it's in can be used for other recipes and for making probiotic drinks as well. So that's your sauerkraut. I'll tell you what's really nice with. It's really nice with ketchup. Just a little bit of ketchup. Really nice. So folks, I hope you give it a go. I hope you let me know how you get on. It's a very cheap, very inexpensive recipe to make. Cabbage, water and salt. That is it. And you don't need specialist equipment. So give it a go and let me know how you get on. I will be back tomorrow with a really special recipe for you. Something that costs an absolute fortune in the shops, yet it's so cheap to make at home. So I hope you'll join me again tomorrow. But for now, I will say goodbye, take care, God bless, and I'll catch you again soon. Bye for now. I'm just coming on here to interrupt myself in between the stages of the sauerkraut. I forgot to mention when I was making the video that there are different ways of making sauerkraut using different ingredients, and I just wanted to say the recipe I'm using today, which is what we tend to use, we tend to gravitate towards this recipe, to be fair, is our favourite. It's from Mary. It's Mary's recipe. She's over at Mary's Nest on here on YouTube. I've been following her for quite a lot of years now, and she's a wealth of knowledge. So it's not my recipe. This is Mary's recipe from Mary's Nest. So go over and give her a visit. She does some fabulous recipes, really, really good food, on nutrient-rich food, nutrient-dense food, and she really does know her stuff. She's a very lovely lady. So go over and visit Mary's Nest, and I will leave a link to her channel below in the description box. Bye for now.